Listen to me, because what I'm about to say is going to punch you straight out of autopilot. If you're noticing these signs in your life right now, don't ignore them. Don't brush them off, because they mean something is coming. And it's not small, it's not random, it's a tidal wave. When you start feeling restless, it's not just a mood, it's a full-blown internal siren. You're not just annoyed for no reason. You're not just tired, you're not just bored. Something inside you has realized you're living a life that doesn't fit anymore. It's like trying to wear shoes that used to fit but now cut off your circulation. That discomfort, that's your soul gasping for air. It's your body telling the truth before your mouth dares to say it. Every morning you wake up with that heavy weight on your chest. That's not just anxiety. It's potential being crushed under the weight of your own denial. You used to be okay with things. You used to laugh at that job, chill with those people, accept those routines. But now, it all feels fake, dull, dead. You're restless because a part of you has already evolved, and the rest of your life hasn't caught up yet. It's not because you're lazy or entitled. It's because you're meant for more, and your body knows it before your mind will admit it. That itch in your brain that won't go away, that voice in your head saying this isn't it, that's your next chapter calling collect. And you're either going to pick up or spend the next 5 years wondering why you feel like a ghost inside your own body. That restlessness is your alarm clock, and most people hit snooze. Again and again and again. They numb it with scrolling, with food, with binge-watching shows they don't even like. Because facing the truth means they might have to do something about it. But not you. Not this time. You're hearing it now. And once you hear it, you can't unhear it. You can't unfeel it. You can't pretend your spirit is okay with mediocrity when it's built for impact. Restlessness isn't a flaw. It's a message. It's the pressure building before the breakthrough. You're not stuck. You're being shaken. The parts of your life that no longer serve you are trying to fall away, and you're gripping them so tightly that it hurt. That pain, that's not punishment. That's resistance. You're fighting the change that's already underway. You're arguing with your own evolution. And every second you ignore that feeling, you're postponing the version of you that's supposed to set the world on fire. It shows up as irritability, as snapping at people you love, as exhaustion that sleep doesn't fix. Your energy is being drained by the friction between who you are and who you're pretending to be. You're trying to function inside a cage that used to feel like home, but you outgrew it, and the walls didn't change, you did. That restlessness is the earthquake before the rise. It's shaking the foundation of everything that used to hold you in place, and you can try to silence it, but it will keep coming back louder and louder until it breaks you or builds you. This isn't some cute self-help moment. This is a warning. If you don't answer that restlessness now, it will turn into rage, into depression, into destruction, because the energy that's meant to push you forward doesn't disappear, it festers, and you'll either channel it into change or suffer under the weight of what you refuse to become. You think life is unfair? Life is trying to wake you up. You're restless because your next level is banging on the door, and you're still pretending, but deep down you know. You feel it. You see flashes of the life you could be living, and then you go right back to settling. That restlessness is proof that your potential is alive and pissed off. It's done waiting for you to grow the courage to act. It's tired of you saying, maybe next year. You were not born for autopilot. You were not built to just exist. You were born with fire, with vision, with raw, terrifying power. And when you ignore that, it doesn't go away. It turns inward. You criticize yourself, you sabotage, you implode, all because you won't admit that you're ready to outgrow the version of you that everyone around you is still comfortable with. This is your moment to stop pretending, to stop shrinking, to stop saying, I'm fine, when your entire nervous system is screaming, I'm not okay here. You want peace, you want clarity, you want to feel alive again, then move. Make the change, have the conversation, leave the thing, start the dream, do the scary, painful, uncertain thing that you already know in your gut is overdue. Because your restlessness is not the enemy, it's the call. And if you don't pick it up, you're choosing to stay in a life that's already expired. You don't get the luxury of pretending anymore. You've felt too much. You've seen too much. You know too much. And once you know, you can't go back. You either level up or stay stuck. You either listen to the restlessness or let it rot you from the inside out. This is the test, not of strength, but of honesty. Can you admit to yourself that you've outgrown who you used to be? Can you let go of the comfort that's killing you? Can you trust that the ache in your chest isn't a flaw? It's the beginning of everything you're about to become. Because restlessness isn't the end, it's the beginning. And if you're feeling it, that means you're closer than you think. When things start falling apart, when people walk out, jobs vanish, plans collapse, you think life is attacking you. But it's not. Life is editing your story. Life is removing characters that can't go to the next chapter. You're not being abandoned, you're being redirected. You didn't lose that opportunity by mistake. It was never meant to stay. It just looked shiny. It just felt familiar. But it wasn't yours. And when something isn't yours, life will tear it out of your hands no matter how tightly you cling. Because if it stayed, it would poison your progress. You don't see it now. You think the loss is the tragedy, but one day you'll look back and realize the loss was the rescue. We're addicted to control. We think if we hold on to everything, we're safe. We think if we force relationships to stay, we're loved. We think if we hang on to that job that drains us, we're secure. But you're not secure, you're suffocating. You're slowly dying in a life that's too small for you, and when you won't let go, life will rip it from you. That pain you're feeling, that's not punishment. That's the tearing of the wrong thing being removed. That's the sound of misalignment being corrected. That's what it feels like when your destiny starts doing house cleaning. We cry over what we lose without asking why it's being taken. We pray to keep what's actually killing us. We beg for stability while living in a cage we've outgrown. You think it's a breakdown, but it's a breakthrough in disguise. The people who left, they couldn't handle who you're becoming. The job that ended, it couldn't hold your power. The plan that failed, it was too small for the size of your vision. You didn't lose it. It lost you. Because you're evolving, and evolution demands space. You cannot rise if your life is packed with things that pull you down, and if you won't release them, the universe will. Rejection is not the end. It's the redirection. It's the divine detour. You thought you were going one way. You had it mapped out. You were committed to a script you wrote at a different level of awareness. But now you've outgrown the script. You've grown past the characters. You've grown beyond the plot. And when the old story doesn't fit anymore, life starts tearing pages out. You don't get to stay comfortable and evolve at the same time. Growth requires loss. Loss is the tax you pay for transformation. It hurts, it burns, but it clears the ground for what's next. People leave when their assignment in your life is done. But we make it personal. We chase, we beg, we mourn. We try to glue broken things back together because we're afraid to live without them. But what if letting go is the blessing? What if the ending is what makes space for your real beginning? You keep praying for strength, but then complain when the weak parts of your life fall apart. That's not failure. That's your strength showing up. You wanted growth? This is what it looks like. Not some peaceful, perfect rise, but a violent unraveling of everything that no longer serves you. The door slams in your face and you think you're cursed, but you don't realize that door led nowhere. That person ghosted you and you feel worthless, but you don't realize their energy would have blocked your expansion. That project fell apart and now you feel like a failure. But you don't see that if it had succeeded, you would have stayed small. Life is not punishing you, it's pruning you. Cutting off the dead branches so you can grow taller, sharper, stronger. You're not falling behind, you're being carved into someone who can handle what's coming next. You keep asking why things are being taken, but the better question is, why are you still holding on? Why are you still fighting to keep things that no longer energize you? Why are you loyal to what drains you? This isn't about what you're losing, it's about who you're becoming. And not everyone, not everything can come with you. Some bridges have to burn, some doors have to slam, some goodbyes have to sting like hell. Because if they don't hurt, you'd run back. You'd settle, you'd shrink. Stop mourning what left, Start honoring what's trying to arrive. Your next chapter is trying to walk in, but your arms are full of ghosts. You say you want change, but you keep negotiating with your old life. You say you're ready for more, but you keep entertaining what's less. At some point, you have to let it collapse, let it fall, let it break. Not because you gave up, but because you finally realized your worth. You finally realize peace is more valuable than approval. Purpose is more important than familiarity, and alignment is stronger than attachment. You think you're being punished, but you're actually being upgraded. You think it's the end, but it's the start of something massive. Your breakdown is the exact moment your breakthrough begins. But only if you stop resisting, only if you stop clinging, only if you stop trying to glue back a version of life that was never built to last. Let it go, let it fall, trust the collapse. Because what's falling apart was never real stability. It was a lie you were too scared to challenge. But now you've got no choice. Now you're free. You didn't come this far to get stuck here. You didn't fight your way through hell just to stay in purgatory. The losses, the endings, the rejections, they're all part of the reveal. They're how life strips you down to the core of who you are. And from that raw, exposed, painful place, that's where the real rise begins. Not from comfort, not from applause, but from the ashes, from the wreckage, from the silence that follows when everything you once leaned on disappears. Let it all fall. Because what's real won't leave. What's meant for you won't run. And what's next, it's bigger than anything you've ever imagined. But it can't arrive until you release what's blocking the door. You feel lost and think something's wrong with you, but what if feeling lost is the most honest thing you've ever experienced? What if the confusion is the first sign that you're finally waking up? You don't know who you are anymore, and that terrifies you. But it should excite you, because the moment you no longer recognize yourself is the moment you stop being a slave to the identity that was built from survival, not purpose. You've been living according to a script someone else handed you, and now your soul is setting fire to the pages. Confusion means the old system is collapsing. The roles, the titles, the routines you once clung to, they don't fit anymore. You're standing in the wreckage of who you used to be, and the silence is deafening. But that silence is sacred. That silence is where the new version of you starts to whisper. You can't hear it yet because you're still grieving the version of you that everyone else was comfortable with, but deep down you know that version wasn't you. It was a costume. It was armor. It was a well-rehearsed lie you wore to make others feel safe. You don't feel like yourself because you've never met your real self. You've only been taught how to be acceptable, how to be digestible, how to shrink your truth into something less threatening. And now that those layers are burning off, you feel naked, you feel exposed, you feel like a mess. That mess isn't failure, it's freedom. That mess is what it looks like when your identity starts rebuilding itself from something real. Confusion is not chaos. It's the death of the mask. And masks don't come off politely. They rip, they tear, they fight to stay on. You want clarity, you want answers, but clarity doesn't come before the storm, it comes through it. You're trying to solve a puzzle that hasn't finished forming yet. You're trying to force purpose out of a life that's still unraveling. You can't skip the breakdown and expect to be reborn. You have to let it all fall. You have to sit in the void. You have to breathe through the identity crisis without trying to tape your old self back together. That old self is done. It served its purpose. Now it's time to become the version of you that scares you a little, because that version isn't interested in being liked. It's interested in being real. You're not broken. You're not failing. You're transitioning. And transitions are messy. They don't come with instructions. They don't ask for permission. They tear open the parts of you you've been too afraid to confront. That fear you're feeling, that anxiety, that paralysis, it's not weakness. It's the body's natural reaction to transformation. You're in between stories. The old one is over. The new one hasn't fully arrived. And that middle space, that terrifying, silent, disorienting middle space, is where power is born. Everything in you is telling you to run back to what's familiar, But familiar doesn't mean safe. Familiar means rehearsed. Familiar means tolerated. Familiar means survival mode. And you didn't come this far just to survive. You came to evolve. And evolution hurts like hell. It strips, it scorches, it exposes every part of you that you've kept hidden. You want certainty, but certainty is a lie. The only thing you can trust right now is your own unrest. That tension, that disorientation, that's the signal that you're outgrowing everything fake. You're looking around and nothing makes sense anymore. Good, it's not supposed to. The old systems are crumbling, and you're still trying to find logic in ruins. Stop trying to make sense of what was. Start feeling your way toward what could be. Your mind won't have the answers because this part of your life is being built by instinct, by intuition, by something deeper than logic. You won't think your way through this. You'll feel your way forward. You'll move through it one hard choice at a time, one honest moment at a time, one broken truth at a time. This confusion is sacred. This identity crisis is sacred. It's the doorway between the life you've been given and the life you were meant to live. Most people don't walk through that door. They patch it up, they deny it, they numb it. They call it depression and medicate it away without ever asking what part of them is trying to be born. But not you. You're here. You're aware. You're cracked open and scared out of your mind, and that means you're ready. Because the people who feel the most lost are often the closest to something extraordinary. You keep asking for clarity, but clarity doesn't come from waiting. Clarity comes from action, from movement, from saying, I don't know what I'm doing, but I refuse to stay stuck. You will not find yourself by standing still. You will not become who you're meant to be by repeating who you've been. You're going to have to make a mess. You're going to have to try things, fail, embarrass yourself, lose things, walk away from people who don't recognize the fire in your eyes anymore. This isn't about being polished. This is about being alive. And aliveness is messy, it's confusing, it's raw. You want neat answers, but life is offering you transformation. You want comfort, but life is offering you growth. You want control, but life is asking you to trust. And that trust will stretch you to your limit. It will break your old rules. It will rewrite your beliefs. It will strip away every excuse, every lie, every false identity you've ever used to stay small, until what's left is someone so authentic, so powerful, so real, you won't even recognize yourself. And that's the point, because the person you're becoming is someone you've never met before. That's why it feels so scary. That's why everything feels like it's falling apart. Because you can't build something new while clinging to what's expired. You don't feel like yourself anymore because you're not supposed to. You're supposed to shed the version of you that played by the rules, that fit in the box, that kept quiet to keep the peace. You're supposed to walk away from that version like a snake shedding dead skin. Not because it was bad, but because you've outgrown it. This is your evolution. This is your awakening. And yes, it's confusing. Yes, it's terrifying. But don't run from it. Don't rush to fix it. Don't numb it away. Sit in it. Own it. Let it tear you open. Because on the other side of confusion is clarity. On the other side of doubt is confidence. On the other side of everything falling apart is the version of you that's been dying to be seen.